Rupanji, if we could just do a quick mic check. If you could please unmute yourself and check if it
Hello.
works. Great. So they say that only who dare to fail greatly can achieve greatly. And hence, experiences and learnings are all that matter because every soul is on its own journey. So, on that positive note, I, Shivam,
And I, Rupanshi.
on behalf of EduMinerva, are here with an exciting event. Well, just a brief about our society. EduMinerva, which was founded in 2019, is a non-technical society of Bharatiya Vidyapeeth College of Engineering. We believe that the right guidance and exposure provided at the right time can affirmation will also be clearing out your misconceptions and will be giving a crystal clear view of what lies ahead once you're through with college and university. So let's move forward and share the schedule of today's event. So we have four of our respected seniors and alumni with us who would each be sharing their set of placement experiences and their insights on the latest demands and requirements of the corporate world from a which are expected from a college fresher basically. So once each slot is completed, we would also be taking up questions in the last half of the webinar. So make sure to drop the questions in the chat box or rather ask them directly by unmuting your mics. One other thing, I also request the attendees to stay till the end as the feedback form will be circulated in the chat box. And we'd love to know if this webinar was fruitful for you or not. Hence, feedback is really important for us also to improve in our future events. So, before we begin, we would also thank our faculty heads and our mentors, Dr. Jolly Parekh ma'am and Dr. Yugnanda ma'am, because of their support, we're able to pull off such events. And so now I think we're set with everything, and we're ready to introduce all of our speakers. So now, without wasting much time, let's introduce and welcome our first speaker of the day, our very own alumni, Mr. Deepanshu Sadhwani from batch of 2021, an experienced data scientist at ZS Associates. Deepanshu he has worked with more than 30 foreign clients, and he has keen interest and a fair amount of exposure and experience in the fields of data science and machine learning. So we welcome you again, Bia, once again this year, and the platform is
Thank
all
you.
yours.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Adam, for giving me this platform to guide my juniors. And it really feels like I'm back in college and like attending all these sessions. Really, really thank you to all. Okay. So first of all, I think we all have here mostly the third year students, right? Okay.
Yes, we have a lot
Very
of
good.
students from third year and some from second year as well who want to, start their preparation early for placements in
Yeah,
second.
I know. Even I was the one who was like always worried where I would get placed and everything.
Right.
Like to be honest, I really want you to know that in the starting days of my placements, I was getting a lot of failures. I couldn't able to getting like in my initial days, I couldn't able to get clear those technical exams or aptitude exams. So like for every one of you, like who are like still getting into placements, don't be ever demotivated. Okay, if you're not getting placed anywhere in the initial days, don't ever get demotivated. Start practicing over your aptitude, quantitative English, and technical skills. Okay, like in my days, I started practicing 100 aptitude and quantitative questions daily, and I continued it for like 20, 30 days. And after that, I started getting placements for multiple. I got selected from four companies in my college. One was first was Cognizant, second was T-Set Digital, third was ThoughtWorks, and fourth one was Comviva. And at the end, I actually finally joined TCGC, and there I was a software developer. Okay, so mostly like in my queries too over LinkedIn, everyone is always asking me like, "Bhaiya, how to prepare for TCET Digital? Okay, how you got the upgradation and everything." So okay, I think most of you have heard about Code Vita and the thesis have NQT hirings and everything. Okay, so first of all, like I got into digital, so I would be guiding you more towards digital profile, and then I will go with the data science profiles, how you can switch into data science and everything. So if you really want to get into TCS or TCS Ninja or TCS Digital, okay, like after the upgradation. So first of all, you have multiple options to get into thesis. The first one is code vita. You have to be really good for code vita. You have to be really very good in the coding. Okay, you have to be good in Java or maybe Python, any one language. But your problem solving skills should be really very good. Okay, then only you can solve the code vita exam. To be honest. Another fortunate thing for our college, the BVP college, is thesis mark our college into one of the premium colleges. That's why they directly hire the students for their digital profile from their exams. You don't have to go for the upgradation exams or anything. Okay, they simply give you the digital hiring test. Uh, It will consist of two coding questions, some of the aptitude, quantitative, and English. Just simply solve it, go with the interview. Again, with the interview, there is an switch. Okay, so it is more like if your interviews don't go well, you can even get the ninja profile. If your interviews go well, you would get the digital profile. And again, it if it won't be that well, you will not get an offer. I didn't get that one too. I didn't get through code vita. I didn't get through digital hiring. I got through NQT. Okay, so what happens in NQT? NQT is again the same thing. It is all over it is all over like India. It happens, and they give the opportunity to every student who have scored more than 90% in their exam. Okay, I was the one. I was among the toppers whose my percentage was I think 90% above. So I got an opportunity to get into a coding exam to solve both the questions. You get an option to get interviewed for the digital profile, and after that digital profile, you like getting interviewed, and then you actually get the digital or ninja offer according to your interview. Now, how to actually ace your interviews? This is really the thing people are always asking, like, Bhaiya, what to prepare, whether I should go for web development or machine learning, blockchain. क्या करें यार समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Okay, so this is the thing. Like for digital hiring, there is a hack to be honest. If you are really working over like latest technologies now, like machine learning, data science, okay, blockchain, these are the technologies that they are really interested in. And if you are doing really very good projects in these technologies, I'm damn sure that your 90% interview, you will be get selected for the digital profile. I'm damn sure. If you are working on latest technologies, example, data science, blockchain, cloud development, or there are some more, okay, or like we have blockchain and everything. I can't remember right now. Okay, if you're working over latest technologies, I'm damn sure that you will be selected for the digital profile for sure. And let them know that you are the best candidate and you have done the projects according to the market standards. Don't be like if you are into data science, you are simply making the house price predictions projects and you think like you will get into a good data science profile or anything like that. Work over your projects which are more towards the industry oriented projects. Okay, work over like projects over how Ola and Uber are optimizing the routes. Okay, there's more into AI. Okay, second project you can work over um, like American Express actually finds out what are the people who are anomaly in their collections. Okay, so there are multiple algorithms. We are simply like making all these KNN and all these things. Okay, so we are simply implying these algorithms and making our yaar accuracy आगे पीछे में आगे recall के खत्म हो गया project. That's not we are doing in data science. Okay, your data science project should be really refined to industry level projects. Then only the interviews. If you really want to get into a data science profile, if you really want to be a future data scientist. Okay, this is the thing really have to target. Okay, so what about the Cognizant, Comviva, and other companies? So again, the thing with them is you have to really ace your quantitative aptitudes, and there's one more round over there that you have to complete the incompleted codes and run that, and everything like if it will pass, you will get the numbers. And I think the Cognizant and Comviva had their exams over AMCAT, and it was almost similar. There wasn't any difference. So you can prepare like that, but do remember to prepare really well into aptitude and quantitative if you really want to get selected in your initial stage. Okay. For interview, you have to prepare. You have to for sure prepare into your projects. You have to make your resume according to that. Okay, your resume should always you're like if I'm the interviewer, I should always have the resume where I can find your projects very well. Okay, like most of the students, they are like writing, I'm studying in BPIT. I did my 12th from this school and that school. These are not really very helpful things. Okay, we need to see your projects. We need to see your experiences. These are the things we have to be. We are always targeting. Okay, I have like took interviews 2 to 3 times, and I'm always like, what projects you have done? I really wanted to know that thing. I don't want to know what college you study. I don't want to know what school, what are your hobbies and etc. I really don't want to know. I'm really interested to know about your projects. And then again, your the interviewer are according to your projects. For sure, in your interviews, for sure, the interview will surely ask you what is one of your best projects. And do prepare at least one project which is like on your tips. And again, it should be according to the market standards. It's not should be the basic one. Okay, it should follow the market standards. So this is how I actually got into my placement from my college. Then let's come to how I actually got into ZS Associates. It was my first switch from TCS. I actually did my internship at Norton Bar in Germany. I got an offer from there too, but due to some COVID issues and pandemic issues, I couldn't able to join at Germany. So I firstly joined at TCS, then I got a switch to ZS Associates. After ZS Associates, okay, so how I prepared for ZS Associates and how I got into it. So in our college too, ZS associates come and they hire for multiple roles. Like last year in my in 2021, they came for data science too, but I couldn't able to crack that one, to be honest. They really hired two students from computer science branches. Okay, only two students from like the whole 2021 batch. Okay, I couldn't able to clear that. After that, one of my friend got into ZS and she really asked me like there are openings for data science and if you are available, I can refer you for. If you get refer, don't be like यार अब मैं refer हो गया अब तो हो गया काम. Okay, the things would be same. जैसा आपका campus interview होता है, जैसा आपका campus का exam होता है, same thing will go on. They will give you a problem statement over hacker to solve a data science problem. Okay, it is same for everyone. But if you are getting referred, the things are you will get into the company more like early. Okay, but there won't be any ease if you're getting referred. So first of all, they will give you a problem statement. It is more like a hackathon over HackerEarth. You get the results, you submit the results. Their data science actually check what are the results we are getting, what our code is, how clean the code is, have we written any hashtags or comments and everything. After that, completing with that, you will get into one more round, which is presentation. Now, the problem you solved over HackerEarth, you have to present how you actually got into this approach, how you solve the approach, why you choose this algorithms, and what are your evaluations over the test data. After that, the last round, which is actually the grill round, to be honest, of ZS Associates. They actually really they grill you very, very well. For the data science profile, I know. Okay. That one is the more technical and data science. They will ask you to code one question. They will ask you to like know about the algorithms very deeply. They'll give you a data science statement like how would you further go on with the statement? How would you solve this problem and everything? The people who are actually working over data science, they would be more relating with me, like how to go with the algorithms and everything. So yes, this how I could able to clear my data science interview at CS, and fortunately, I got the offer too, and I got a really good hike from TCS, like from my previous offer. Okay, that's it from my experience. Okay, if anyone of you like have any questions related to like any TCS or ZS or Cognizant, everything you wanna know, just let me know.
Thank you so much, Deepanshu Bhaiya, for sharing your experiences. Now, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Harshit Anand. He is an alumni of batch of 2021, currently working as a data analyst at CRED. He has foundational skills in SQL, Python 3, machine learning, Tableau, and PySpark learning. He has also worked in the field of graphic designing, sales, and product development. And an additional information here, he was also the ex-president of Enactus BVCOE during his tenure in the society. We welcome you, Bhaiya.
Hello,
Hi,
can you
Bhaiya,
guys hear
you're
me?
on and visible.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I am, as introduced, I am Harshit Anand. I currently um a very warm welcome. I feel glad to be here and guiding my juniors from college, which I really adore. There have been instances where students have been coming up to me over LinkedIn, over WhatsApp, ki we want to do this, we want to do that, and like thanks for you guys to uh, come out and talk to us about it. And really glad that you're picking things really actively at college now. So I'll keep it short. I'll start this session is about college placements. I am someone who's not very college placement-ist kind of a person, but I'll still guide you through my experiences which I saw during college. So first and foremost, I'd like to talk about the things that you should not do during the college placements. You should not go in for companies where you do not know what you'll be doing. There are X number of companies that come to college where you do not have a very clear picture of what you will be doing, right? You do not have a clear picture on what will your profile look like, what will to those organizations, right? For some people, these organizations work really well, but for most of the other people in my batch, they've not worked so well. So I'll not be taking names of the organizations, but you know the gist of it, right? Apart from that, as a third year student or a second year student, by now you should know in what field do you want to pursue your career. Does it have to be analytics? Does it have to be data science? Have to be blockchain, etc. Or even can be sales as well, right? There are few colleagues of mine, batchmates of mine who have gone on to do their sales job and are doing extremely well in those. So essentially, just not down to engineering, so you'll do engineering related jobs. There are people doing marketing jobs, there are people doing sales jobs. It's just engineering makes you uh, engineering very firm on what you need to do and what you enjoy. Now, the way to identify it for me was getting into internships. I did 2, 3, 4 internships during college, and how I got these internships was through internshala or maybe asking a senior, right? So as you go out, learn a few things about the field that you want to get into. So, for example, in my case, I want to get into Python, SQL, I knew a bit of Tableau, and then I used to just shoot out mails to people, shoot out SMSs, LinkedIn messages, WhatsApp messages to people, right? And I used to go there and learn, etc. For me, I getting a started way
Hi,
before the fourth
Harshit
year.
here.
Some,
Sorry
yeah,
to cut you there. Actually, there's been a network issue from your side. Your voice is breaking in between. So, if you could please try to rejoin and maybe it works. Or rather, maybe the video, the bandwidth of the internet might get better if you maybe switch off your video camera, probably.
actually, I've lost electricity. Can you guys move on to the next speaker? I'll join back when I have electricity back.
Sure, that sounds good. Great, great. Mayank, if you could please share your screen again. I think Harshit, yes. Yeah. Mayank, if you could please share your screen once again. I think it's not shared yet. Is the screen not visible to me only, or is there some network issue? Rupanshi, if you could please confirm.
There is some network issue from Mayank's side, I guess. It's not
Okay.
visible to me also.
No issues. I think we can move on to the next speaker. It's fine. Let's not waste much time now.
Okay, the next speaker is our very own senior, Miss Suchika Sachdeva. She is an alumni of batch of 2022, incoming SDA at Amazon. She is well versed in Python and C programming language and experienced in machine learning, deep learning, NLP, and computer vision. We are glad to have you with us, Didi, and wholeheartedly welcome you.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes,
Sorry,
Didi.
so I'm not switching on my camera since I have some network issue here. But I'll just tell my experience on this audio only. I hope that will be okay with you all.
Surely, surely. Your insights are what
Okay.
that matters.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. I'll be happy to share my experiences with you all and guide my juniors so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did. And I made a lot of them actually. So let me start about my preparation journey first. So I was very late to my preparation to start my preparation. I started basically like 6 months prior to the placement season, which would be in my fifth semester, end of fifth semester. I started. So I basically focused on DSA only because since everyone of you know that every company will ask you questions on DSA. So I started with that and I didn't focus much on anything else and I was deep into it. But when I started like interviewing and the placement season start, honestly, I couldn't really clear even the technical assessments of 5 to 7 companies that came to our college. I was not able to clear them. And that was because I was not prepared what they were like. I was not prepared for quantitative and aptitude things, reasoning ability. I was not at all prepared for them. So with my experience, I want to say that with DSA, you should definitely practice as many questions as you can of basic data structures. Also, you should know all the basic algorithms at least, and don't go too deep into it, I'd suggest, because most companies don't really ask that deep. So don't do like too much CP and too much DSA. Don't do that. You should know all the basics, data structures and algorithms, and then also focus on your quantitative ability, reasoning ability, logical ability, and obviously continuously practice DSA along with it. Then I'd suggest apply to as many companies as you can. I think college has some restrictions on that. That once you get placed in one of the companies, you cannot apply further. But like in for off campus, apply to as many companies as you can. Be totally active on LinkedIn and look for open positions, entry level positions in the field you are interested in, and keep on applying. Definitely attempt all the tests and all the interviews that you can. Even if you don't feel confident, just sit for them, and you know that experience would matter a lot. Because like the first few technical assessments that I couldn't clear, I got to learn a lot that I am not good in this area and not good in that area. So I got to know that what I need to be prepared for, like the next assessments and the next interviews. And you get better with with each test you give and each interview attempt. You definitely get better. Before Amazon, I think I gave like 50 plus interviews with companies, with different companies before I got to interview for Amazon. And that experience of like interviews with those companies helped me a lot. A lot. I was not at all stressed and I felt totally confident when I was sitting for Amazon and all. So yeah, definitely like experience matters a lot. So just sit for, even if it is a very small company, just sit for it, just give its test and the interview. And even if you don't want to join, just attempt the test and attempt the interview. It will help you a lot. Now let me come on to Amazon and how the process was for it. I think you all are very excited to know that. So Amazon basically has a standard process. Even if you apply through a referral, if you apply through the online site, or if you I applied through the WOW program, which is for women only. It's a women only program. So I applied through that, but the process is completely same if you apply like anywhere through literally any mode. So first, they take two online assessments. First, online assessments, they have MCQs related to core subjects such as OS, DBMS, software testing, Linux, and all. And there are one to two coding questions. And those coding questions, I don't really remember them, but they were like all the coding questions, even if they're asked in interviews or they're asked in the assessment, they are of lead code medium level for Amazon specifically. So first assessment was this. In second online assessment, there was a code debugging section. Then there were some logical and reasoning questions, and there were two DSA questions. So these were like the two online assessments, and after you clear both of these, they will schedule your interviews. And this, like, if all the if you are interested to participate in WOW, so I think they open the applications in June or July. So do check it out. If I let me move on to the interviews. So they conduct three interview rounds, and they are totally like DSA based. They don't ask anything else in their interviews. They don't even like, for me, they didn't even take my introduction. They directly jump onto DSA. They ask again. They ask lead code medium questions only. My first interview, they asked like three questions, and they also asked me some theoretical questions on data structures. Like they asked me what's DP, what are graphs, and all. And in the second and third interview, they asked me total like two DSA questions each of lead code medium level. And based on that, I think two of my interviews went well, and the third one didn't. So they just gave me the internship there, the 6 month internship. And on the performance of like my internship, they gave me an offer to join full time with them. So this was like the my basic experience with Amazon. What helped me crack it was, like I told you, practice and experience with other interviews that I gave earlier. That definitely helped me, and DSA, it should definitely be strong. But don't go too deep into it. Practice on lead code, do lead code daily, and two three questions every day from different topics. That will definitely help you start your preparation at least an year or 6 months before to definitely do it, because it takes time, practice and all. It takes a lot of time. So definitely practice as many questions as you can. And before like you have any interview, like tomorrow, your interview is scheduled 1 week after tomorrow or something. So on Geeks for Geeks, go on Geeks for Geeks, read interview experiences and practice the previously asked questions. That will help you a lot. Like even if like read the questions and just go through them, practice them. Practice mock interviews with your friends. Like have your friend ask you questions. Like be an interviewer for your friend, and ask your friend to be an interviewer for you, and solve the question in the span of 30 minutes. Try to solve it. That will like give you a time pressure and all, and you'll be able to manage time properly in your actual interview. So that is one thing that you should definitely do, which I didn't, but I learned it a little later. That will definitely help you. Yeah, and like start applying right now. Prepare your resume and start applying right now to every company you can which has an open position for an SD or whichever role you want. Start applying now. Go on LinkedIn, go on Internship, apply everywhere. Sit for as many interviews as you can, and I guess the right opportunity is waiting for you. It's out there only. And all the best to everyone. If you have any other doubt regarding Amazon, regarding Amazon or any other company, do reach out on LinkedIn or anywhere. I'll be happy to help. Thank you.
For sure, Dee. Thank you so much for your insightful experiences and especially your interview experiences at Amazon. I'm sure all of us wanted to know that quite eagerly. So, and I'm sure that all of us would, get to learn a lot from all of your experiences that you shared. So now, move. Do we have Mr. Harshit Bhaiya here in the meet? If you could, if Harshit is there. Rupanshi, if you could please confirm, would we have Harshit Bhaiya here? Else, we will move on to our next very special guest here.
We do not have Harshit Priya right now.
Okay, no worries. So I guess let's move on to our next speaker. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome another senior of ours, which is Miss Shatakshi Raman of Batch 2022. Shatakshi Di is an incoming SWE at Yamaha. She has an experience in the field of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and NLP, and she has also worked in the field of content writing, which says a lot about her personality, which I'm sure is an all-round one society here in our college, which it's MLSAC BVCOE. So now I'd like to thank you, Dee, for gracing us with your presence, and a very warm welcome to you. The platform is all yours.
I'm first of all, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for using a very outdated picture of me. I would have sent a new one if you would have asked. By the way, I'm really pretty in real life. Picture does not suits me. If you don't mind, I have been giving talks like this for like a long time. So I have a presentation which I'll just pull up. Okay.
That
So,
surely works.
okay, dear. Once you're able to see my screen, okay. So basically, I'm going to give you, unlike all my three predecessors who have given you really intelligent talks today, I'll tell you more about the real scenario of how the college placement works. So I am here basically to tell you how to make your degree worth more than Sharma Ji ka ladka, which is who got placed more before than me. Okay. So I'm Sadhwani Raman. I have worked in the field of machine learning, UI, UX, mostly in natural language at GameHorns. Then I was a product developer and a content writer for Alloa Artworks. After that, I joined S&P Global, which was earlier IHS Market. Now it is S&P Global. And finally, I was offered a position of Yamaha Motors. Yamaha Motors, by the way, is the first company that came to the college. And serious responses that they came for BCA, college of ours, BV Camp, but they only took one student from there and the 17 were from BTech. So that's there. Apart from that, I have been offered positions as system engineers from AWS in a college only. Then I was offered a research position at GeoR&D, product associate at Lambda Test, machine learning associate at Sage, and ERP developer over at Productivity. So as you can see, one simply does not find a job, especially here at BVCOE. So for BVCOE, if you look over at the process, I'll show you three things here. You can see an image, you can see the word drink, and you'll see the smallest. Seeing the three things, you'll see the image the first, then you'll read the word drink, and then you will see the word yours. So this is exactly how your procedure works. In the first, you have bulk people where they're just going to mark you on the basis of your resume. We are just going to read through not properly structured sentences and then mark you whether it's not or there. Then after that, your drink phase will come, which is your basically HR interview, who will grill you and think that you are the Mahatma Gandhi meets Eminem of the tech world. Okay, and after that you will get into the DSA part, which is your swears and your sweats. So you have to drink both of them if you need to get into that particular company. Now coming on to the classical offer that BVCOE has. So BVCOE has a very structured offer. They basically give you two types of companies that come in. They are either service based like ZS or they're product based like Yamaha. So if I'll tell you a little bit about Yamaha, so no, we do not develop bikes, no, and also I cannot give you offers on FZ15. Apart from that, we basically, Yamaha has a lot of business amongst itself, and it also provides vendor to a lot of Yamaha other subsidiaries and affiliates. So we work as a IT head for that. Now coming on to the traditional procedure. So the first is your resume. The second is your aptitude test, and the third round is, you can think of as DSA. So any company that comes, it will take into this only. There are a few service-based companies such as ZY or ZS. They do offer, they want to prove that they are different. So they'll maybe throw a curveball here or there with like group discussions or case study discussions, but those are rare. Okay. So you can think of your resume as a green goblin. It's like a low-level Marvel, what do you say, villain? Your aptitude can be a Dormammu, because I'll tell you why. And your DSA is your basically Thanos. So let's get into your resumes. So this is your updated resume. Okay, so basically, whenever you are going through, making a resume, I try to keep three things in mind. First is what is the role you want. You have a generic, or you cannot keep on just making every new resume for every new role you apply. Also, when you are, as a fresher, you apply everywhere. You can, if you think that you can, print out a console log, then you think you are a web developer. Or if you can just, copy the code of Medium and make it run on your own dataset, then you think you are an NLP engineer. So that is why you think that every job that there is, you can do that. So first of the thing is, whenever you apply, make sure that you tailor the role you want to. If you are applying for AI developer job, make sure that you put in the skills, the projects that are needed for your AI developer, not as a front end developer. The second thing is, know your objectives. Like for any resume we write, we put in a very generic objective, right? An aspiring entrepreneur, so and so, chasing after a dream, so and so. But what do you need to say is that the HR always think of the person who is recruiting you as a human rather than an AI. The person who is going to assess over like 90 or 190 resumes. How are you going to make yourself understand, right? If I'll give you an example, what happens is when you put in too many hard words like incredulous and amazing entrepreneur with skill, incandescent teamwork skills, they will think of you as a snobbish person who has either used Threshers.com for all the adjectives that they could get, or which is again not a teamwork quality. If you put in two generic words like a software engineer, developer, doing this, then they'll also think that you are not a hard worker because you have not even, tried to sell yourself. So you need to match a vibe. You need to find a tricky balance between your objectives so that it stands out, right? Third thing is know your worth. So applying to all these companies, people go like, you should apply to Netflix, and it is not worth applying to Netflix when you know that you are not that material. You can obviously, so there is nothing, it's not a Tinder relationship where you will get swipe left. Okay, it hurts when you get an mail that you have not cleared it. Okay, so what I would say is, whenever you are applying for the job, do go through the JDs once or twice. So it's like when you are putting those things, you can think of it like your mom introducing a person to you to be your partner. She's like, इसके पास घर भी है, पैसा भी है, health insurance भी है, तो या तो तुम इससे बेटर लेके आओ या तुम्हारे पास ये है. तो तुम अपना वर्थ उस तरीके से दिखाओ कि these are the things that you can do, these are your values, and do not apply for the jobs that less pay you or that less respect you, or the jobs that provide you for more. Try to strike a balance between who you are, what you want to do, and the job, what it asks of you. Okay, so how to make some standout resume? I'm pretty sure you guys have had some great people talk about it. This is a resume from Legally Blonde, Elle Woods. She liked to keep everything pink, so that would stand out. But I think 3 qualities that your resume should have is, first, sell yourself. You should be able to sell yourself in a way, in an innovative way that, again, the recruiter reading, he's going to mass read through 95. What happens in Yamaha is, the first thing they do is resume cutoff. And this happens in Amazon also. This time it happened when we applied. So about 190 people applied for the position, and only 98 got in for, invitation for aptitude link. So 98 of them got selected on the basis of their resumes always. Also, do not keep on sharing the resume templates on Overleaf. Please, at least change colors so that people have, know that you are not copying the same person over and over. Second thing you should do in your resume is be honest. If you're not honest and you put down things like, oh, I can do SQL, I can do, Hadoop, Spark, and then I also do Unity and I also do Shell, then the person who is going to take your technical interview, he is going to drown you on all of that, and then you are going to fail. And once you start failing, there is no coming back from that. Okay, so do not make things more humiliating for yourself than it has to be. So be honest. Third thing, if you are an exceptional liar like I am, lie on your resume, but in a way that it cannot be caught. Like if you can do certain things in C++, you do not need to mention like, oh, I can do, use these and these libraries. You can make it as generic, like I'm a C++ developer. But that only happens if you have the skills to back it out and you have the basic skills to lie. So if you can, then only do it. Please do not quote me on that. But that is just basically how human conversations work. So now comes the Dormammu, which is aptitude test. So this is where you actually beat the crowd. So what happened in Yamaha test was, Yamaha, we got to know the notification on 25th. The registration to apply for Yamaha closed on 26th. And on 27th, we had the aptitude exam for Yamaha. After aptitude exam, they took our resumes and did a little bit of shuffling and everything. Also, do not get discouraged. During the placement, TNP will send you messages at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. People got their calls for ZS interviews at 2 a.m. So do not discourage. Waiting can take a long time. Coming on to the aptitude test, now this is where you beat the crowd. So what happens is your DSA part, you are either going to be strong in it or mediocre in it, but the entire college is going to be mediocre in it, right? For a resume part, either you're going to make it or break it, right? In your aptitude test, even each mark counts. So if you do know the formulas for pipes and cisterns, man work, if you have done those in your 8th grade or 9th grade when you were supposed to study, and not watch Dragon Ball Z episodes, then you can make this test over here. So I have had friends who have much more technical knowledge than me, but have failed every single aptitude test. And these aptitude tests are super basic. They ask for basic GK, which none of us have. So instead of going through reading daily newspapers, rather than what I do is I watch current affairs for the entire week, which is like a 1 week renewal, and I just try to remember these points. Also, you are not preparing for UPSC. You do not need to make notes for this thing. So do not waste your time. Okay. For aptitude test also, there are some formulas that you just need to go, like profit and loss is there, manpower is there, pipe and systems is there. So just do a basic what do you say, renewal of, like, my maths was strong, so I didn't have to do this part. But for those who watch too many Dragon Ball Z, they might have to review this part also. The third thing that comes for Yamaha or for any other round is the human manager round. So the HR round. So what people do is they become robotic at this time. So you go through every single lead code, Geeks for Geeks, Glassdoor preparation that has been put there, because now you don't want to lose over at the HR manager. That to an HR. You don't want to lose to that person. Okay, technical round makes sense. If you're losing to HR, then you seriously need to look yourself in the mirror, whether you want this job or not. So HR interview people, what do? Is they try to make it as generic as possible and go for as diplomatic answers as this. You're not sitting in a UN conference. You do not need to be as generic. If you're going to be the same as a 40 people behind you and 40 people in front of you, how are you going to stand out? So instead, when people ask you, tell about yourself, you saying I was born at a young age, or me cracking a joke. Like I say, I can copy anything except for cooking. So something like that, which puts you aside from the other, which can act as a conversation kicker. Because then again, if you're going to say, like, I'm an inspiring BTech person who has done this, then they're again going to ask you very generic question, and then you are also going to the list which is either going to make it, break it, whatever it is, with the leftover people. So you don't want to be leftover people. Try to control the conversation. Whenever you are having any conversation, try to control it. Maybe you have it, maybe you have something else. Try to find it common with the. I'll tell you one thing. When I gave an interview for Lambda test, I think it was the person also hated Apple products, and I also hated Apple products. He hated because his company made Android products, and I hated because I'm a broke person. So we both bonded over that. So try to find whatever you can using your human skills and connect. Again, remember that these are your HR rounds, right? So they are going to test you on your behavioral ways. They are going to test on how well you are able to communicate, how well you are able to, structure your words. So these are the things that you need to convert. Don't need to go all generic and on Glassdoor on this, that my target from 5 years is this. No, they don't want that. They want you to be raw and honest, but being raw and honest does not mean that they are your friends who you are sharing the momos bills with. You don't need to go that deep. You need to be at a point where you can set yourself apart from others. Now again, this is the same slide that I covered back. So now coming on to the technical interview. So this is exactly what happens, because once you are giving the technical interview, they are going to ask you about DBMS, they are going to ask you about networking, your OS, your core DSA, your SQL. Do not underestimate SQL, because there are several things that go into SQL. So do not just throw it like ki kar hi lenge, select sari lagana hai. Don't do that to your SQL. Study your SQL as well. Then you are going to ask questions like what is load balancing, what is page balancing, what is scaling, your basic all the technical things that you have studied over the past 4 years. You will be asked that, but your actual job will be like this only, because you will have a team of 25 people, one doing testing, one doing unit testing. You don't even sometimes have to do unit tests yourselves, right? But during the technical interview, what I have found is I have broken down into 3 parts. The first part is a project part. They're always going to ask you about your project part, as everybody else than me has explained. I usually have projects in NLP. If you have some research projects that you have done or undertaken, even not like completely done, but have undertaken, do put them out, because once you put out like a hackathon project is like, a one good date you went on with a tender person. And when you say you have a research project, it means a long 6 month relationship that was there. So research project shows that you have documentation skills and all these skills that you need to be a proper documenter. Also, a little tip: when you do start working, coding actually is only 20%. 60% is your documentations, because you are writing documents and emails entire time. So your coding takes a backseat when you actually start development. So when you are talking about projects, if you have some hackathon projects, then it shows that you have the insight into market area, and you have more insight about the business product for formulating and all these things. Also, you are a time cruncher. If you have some product that you develop during code jams or kickstart, then it shows that you have the core problem solving skills. Second thing they're going to target is, or may will be, the things that you have put. Like if you read my resume, you will clearly see that I'm an NLP developer or an AI developer, right? So they'll target into what you are actually, and then they'll question it on you. Like I usually get asked a lot of questions about GPT. So whatever you are putting on there, make sure that you have targeted all the latest researchers that have went into it. Okay, do not try to lie here, because you will be caught badly. Also, we gave it in online mode, so it was a little bit easier for it. You will be given in offline mode. Now, the third round is the mammoth of all, which is the DSA round. So it completely depends upon how you are preparing for a DSA round. If you're doing your lead code medium level questions, if you're, going through the geeks of geeks basic question, then it will work. I'll give you a little example of what happened during my Amazon interview. When I came in, we did like the basic hi, hello. And after that, as he was like formulating something, I just went like, I'm an NLP developer, I have done only worked in this, so I have no idea about DSA. I was very honest about it. So he said, okay, I will not give you an easy question, but I will manage my expectations about it. So again, I took over a step, and I was very honest with him. He did give me a red spade 3 problem, but it was sort of easy, and he helped me throughout it. So it also depends. And when it was my second technical interview with DSA only, I was asked to make Dinus philosopher's problem, which if you studied OS and not just passed because of Google, you will know what problem that is. So I was asked to code that as well. So this part you cannot judge. Sometimes you'll get very easy. Some of my friends also got like basic array structuring. Some of us also got very hard problems. But this part is how you manage their expectations, and this part is not about deriving the solution or just giving them that O to the power n is the complexity for it, but how you think. So try to think out loud. Try to tell them that this is the base case, this is the validation, this is the boundary value analysis, this is how the gray coding system will go. So try to do all of that. Apart from that, know a little bit about company, who is the CEO, who is the CTO, how it manages, what are the basic like business financials. And after that, that will be the end, and you will get a job, hopefully. यार कॉलेज में कुछ नहीं होगा तो इस बार तो सिस्को लेके गई है 150 लोग, तो 3 लाख वालों में तो प्लेस हो ही जाओगे. कुछ नहीं होगा तो खाली नहीं बैठना, ठीक है. Apart from that, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on my LinkedIn. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Shatakshi, really, for sharing your amazing experience. That did help me learn a lot. And unfortunately, Harshit Bhaiya has some network issues at his side, so he won't be able to join. So let's move on to the Q&A section. You can either text your queries in the chat box, or you can raise your hands. We will unmute and you can ask your questions.
Yes, guys. I would urge everyone to just type in their questions here in the chat box so that we can have a quick Q&A round of about 10 to 15 minutes. Would that be okay, Shatakshi di, Deepanshu bhaiya, and Suchika di?
They're fine by me.
Yes, definitely.
I'm a very sad person who has nothing to do on a Saturday night, then talk to a bunch of juniors.
You're not sad at all. I mean, your presentation was way too great, and being somebody who's entering final year and trying to preparing for placements, I think this presentation helped us a lot, especially me, for sure. So we've got one question in the chat box by Manisha. Manisha is asking, how much pre-research of companies would help in an interview? If any one of you would like to take that up. Hmm. We could start like alphabetically. We could start with Dipanshu if who wants to answer that.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's suppose you were getting into TCS or simply getting them, then you know about the CEO and everything, it would work fine. But let's suppose you are going for ZS Associates. So the pre-research would be more oriented if you work over the projects on which ZS is working. Okay, ZS is mostly working over pharma projects right now, and they're switching into more domains. But right now, they are mostly working over analytics and pharma projects. If you really want to research about that, like how actually I can get into it, you can do your projects related to that field, and that will really help you in the interview. So and even the P research, knowing about the CEO, CTO, that won't help in CS. I really don't think so. But in TCS or Cognizant, it may help you.
Right. And it's good to ask more about the company's profile as well, right? Like at the end of the interview, when they ask if you have any questions regarding the company or something of that sort. Is that a good idea?
That
Like
is a
I really take it really very. Okay, go.
Yeah, yeah. Shatakshi, you were saying something.
Yeah, that is a good idea until you do not, hit yourself in the foot. My friend asked, she gave a very bad interview, so she just said, she was like, let's just get this over with. So she was like, how do you rate my interview? And the interviewer said that you are the worst person I have met in the past 3 years of interviewing. So you should be very careful. You should just be careful about what you say. They are not people who are splitting bills with you. There are people who are going to decide whether your parents, say, "Arey, हमारे लड़के ने काम कर दिया," or the people who are going to basically kick you out. So it's always nice to have some questions, but be very, honest about it. Do not ask them stupid questions like, "What was the profit percentage over the last quarter?" They're not
Right.
gonna know that. So be like generic to your role, like what kind of responsibilities do you see me, or something like that. Also, do not ask them about notice period. My friend asked what is the notice period, and he never got a call back. So don't do those things.
Right. Thanks for that. I think this question is more directed towards Suchika Di, since she's given more than 50 interviews that are specific to DSA. Akash is asking how many languages, that is Java, C++, Python, or how many languages knowledge is required uh, before starting DSA?
Just one, just one. Don't go over
Just
too many languages. Just focus on one language and practice DSA questions in that only. Don't learn too many languages. That is not going to help. But be sure that you can solve any question in one language.
right. Fair enough. Great. Any suggestions, like any one of your favorite languages which you would like to suggest our fellow
I
juniors here?
Yeah, I used to do I used to do all this in C++ only because I think everything is available in C++. There are so many standard libraries also, and everything is available. So I use C++. I definitely suggest that, but there is no problem if you like coding in Java or Python. They are good too. But Python, I guess there are just too many shortcuts available that interviewers sometimes do not like. Java is fine. Java is actually really great too. Interviewers do prefer that too. So yeah, Java and C++ go for anyone and practice coding in that.
Sure. I think that is uh, Akash has answered. That's a good one. Okay. So Manisha is again asking that is there a need to create different resumes for different roles or profiles? It's an open-ended question. Any one of you would take it.
I think it's more like you just have a basic structure down. Like if you go over to Overleaf, I think you can have a basic structure down of things like the projects you have done and your education. You can just copy those. Or for your generic profile, you should change it. Like if you are, targeting an AI job, you should not be saying that you are good at developing UI UX structures. I mean, it's good to show that you have some additional skills, but you can just have one, two, three copies of the same thing and just change the details whenever you feel like. You should tune it, right? You cannot drive Wagoner to Shimla. That is the same thing. You need to tune it up a little bit.
Great. Yeah, right. Makes sense. Suchikadi, anything to add to that, or Dipanshu
Yeah,
Bhaiya?
actually, I wanted to share one thing about resume only. So there are Harvard resume available. They are free templates, and you can refer those. And they also have some keywords listed, which you can use in your resume to depict your projects and accomplishments. So do check them out and do prepare a standard resume. Uh, because like if you are applying off campus, so they don't really see your resume at first. They goes through some parser or something. So it should be like, don't make first of all, don't make 2 column resumes and don't add too much colors and all. Make a standard resume. That Harvard standard template is really nice. Do use it, and like if you are applying off campus, definitely check that out.
Sure. Great. Dipanshu Bhaiya, is there anything that you would like to add to that?
Well, to be honest, I always target over the projects. Okay. For myself, let's suppose there is a company and it's a startup. Okay. Most of the time, they really don't like pass it through a parser. And that is, I think that thing is known as ADP quality, something like that. Okay. So most of the time, the startups don't pass through the parser. You can make your resumes over Canva too, but let's suppose you are applying for a company like Amazon or something like that. Your resume should be ADP qualified, and you can make those resumes over Overleaf. Okay. And one more thing, like I always target over the projects. Your project should be really well defined. You must have the detailed projects over there and the projects which are on your fingertips always. I really don't target over your education, your hobbies, and everything. Okay, I always target over projects.
Right. Manisha, that answers your question quite descriptively. Do we have our next question?
Yeah, the next question is asked by Siddhant. Does your graduate training help you in your job? And if it does, then how?
No, no, no. To be honest, no.
Not at
Not
all.
really. You actually have to work on your own. To be really very honest, you have to work over DSA, maybe data science from over like YouTube or any institute you want to do. But college won't help you out over these things.
One interesting question, that is something that I've always wondered. Like, how big a gap is there between the industry? Like, you guys have just entered the corporate world and everything. So, how big a gap is there between the studies that we do in college here and like in corporates? Like, how big a gap is that?
There is a 200% gap.
I was expecting
whatever we are
kind of an answer.
whatever
Yeah.
we are actually studying nowadays, like if a person is from EC or IT or maybe CSE branch, okay, we are studying, to be honest, all different things. Okay, our syllabus isn't like updated for years, right? In the industry we are working over many multiple things. Many We are actually like, all these companies are like business oriented companies. Like Amazon is a business too. If you really want to get into the technical, for sure, you have to understand the business first. Okay. No college, no university is helping out the students to understand the business. If you really want to work as an analyst, data scientist, SD, or anything, okay, in any field, you have to understand the business first of all. Only that you would able to like get into the things like what now industries are doing. That's why most of the people, like after getting into the jobs, they struggle. यार चीजें हो नहीं रही यार, कॉलेज में तो ये सिखाया ही नहीं था यार, ये तो हो ही नहीं रहा, समझ ही नहीं आ रहा, क्लाइंट क्या बोल रहा है यार, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा, पल्ले ही नहीं पड़ रहा, right? ये चीजें बहुत होती हैं स्टार्टिंग में, like being a fresher. तो
Right.
Yeah,
Shatakshi, to say yeah, yeah.
मैं एक पर्सनल एनेक्डोट बताऊंगी. सो यामाहा यूजुअली हैज ऑल इट्स हेड ओवर एट जापान. तो जो मेरा पहला क्लाइंट था, इट वाज जापानीज, ठीक है, एंड आई हैड ओनली बीन देयर फॉर लाइक 2 months. तो हमारी क्लाइंट रिक्वायरमेंट्स लेनी थी. उनकी इंग्लिश ना हमसे काफ़ी अलग होती है, बहुत
Right.
ज़्यादा अलग होती है. तो मैं बैठी हुई, एंड यूजुअली वी हैव दिस ट्रांसलेटर लाइक लाइव translator, so he just spews out whatever the people are saying and just translates it meeting में. सो कुछ कुछ तो ट्रांसलेशंस इतनी एप्ट आ रही थी कि हम लोग ऐसे कि यार क्या बोल रहे हैं. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, क्लाइंट जब मीटिंग करते हैं ना, तो दे आस्क यू कि ये भी कर दो, ये भी कर दो, ये भी कर दो, एंड देन यू हैव टू पुट इन द कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स. जैसे भैया ने बोला ना, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द बिजनेस. एट द सेम टाइम यू कैन नॉट से कि हाँ 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 कर देंगे कर देंगे. कॉलेज का प्रोजेक्ट थोड़ी है जो बाद में तुम टीचर को मस्का लगा के कर दोगे. सो तब और जब तुम बाद में जाते हो तो तुम्हें देखना पड़ता है कि दोज थिंग्स एक्चुअली डोंट वर्क आउट, और देयर इज समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट वर्किंग आउट. सो यू कांट गो बैक ऑन योर वर्ड, राइट? सो यू हैव टू लर्न दोज थिंग्स, यू हैव टू प्री प्रिपेयर फॉर थिंग्स, राइट? उसके अलावा ऑल्सो जब तुम अभी लग रहा है ना कि तुम कोड कर रहे हो, सो यू गेट हैप्पी कि यार कोड कर रहे हैं. बाद में तुम्हें जाके यू हैव टू लर्न थिंग्स लाइक कि कमेंटिंग इज एक्चुअली important in your code. You have to do stupid things like you have to make a design document, an SDD document, a test plan, then a testing document, then a field test document. So documentation वाला part takes up a lot of your time. ठीक है, तो those things really come into जो soft SDLC वाला chapter पढ़ते हैं ना हम लोग, STQA and वो सब जो हम लोग ऐसे होते कि ये तो हो ही जाएगा. So those also come into play a lot. Apart from that, you have to understand the business, you have to understand client requirements. So it's a completely different world. It's like कि तुमने एनसीईआरटी के सिलेबस के लिए प्रिपेयर किया और आ गया तुम्हारा जेई का सिलेबस बोर्ड के एग्जाम में, तो वो वाली चीज है एकदम बिल्कुल डिफरेंट.
Well, thanks for the fair warning. Suchika, did you have anything to add to that, or we can move on to the next question?
Yeah, it's not at all related. That was the question, right? If our
Yeah,
college is related, no. I worked at Amazon like for 5 months, and nothing related to college was there. They taught me totally new things and totally different project structure. Even the kind of work that we do is totally different. Nothing related to college. So all the best. Be prepared for that.
if I'm not wrong, there is a 6 months training that every fresher has to go through before starting with the job. Like this happens in every company where they kind of brainwash you as to what you studied during college years, and like they they kind of upskill you in some way or the other. Is that
Yeah,
so?
they
Yeah. Go on, start.
Right, right. Great. So I think we can move on to the next question. I think we have Mayank Hora here in the meet who has raised his hand and wants to unmute himself and ask a question. So Mayank, we've given you the permission if you could, if you want
Okay,
to
okay,
ask.
cool. I am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Mayank. I have a doubt. Like I'm learning Amazon Web Services nowadays. So I want to ask Suchita Di about Amazon looks for what certifications and particularly which skills for getting in AWS. Can you tell me that?
I'm not really sure about I didn't give any interviews for AWS or anything, but basically for any role they'll take 2 tests DSA based and then take 3 interviews totally DSA based. Almost for all roles they do that. But if you are applying for AWS, I guess they'll do ask some questions about that during the interviews, but not sure if they'll ask in their online assessments or not.
Okay, okay, cool. I have one more
Can I share
question.
my experience?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
sure,
Mayank.
sure.
So Mayank, like for if you really want to get into AWS, for AWS they will actually ask you questions more oriented towards networking and cloud. Okay, and one of my friend actually appeared for the interview. I think he had 1 year of experience with working with AWS, and the questions were mostly oriented towards AWS and cloud. And it would be beneficial for you if you crack that certification, that AWS certification. It will help you out for sure. I'm damn sure. Okay. So your questions would be more oriented towards cloud and AWS, but I think there's one more round where they actually ask you the basic DSA. Okay. So for sure they would be like grilling you over networking and cloud, but there would be one more round for DSA. Like this was the experience my friend shared with me.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I have another question. Maybe ये question थोड़ा सा अजीब लगे, but you are all are placed in amazing companies. But आपके टाइम पे भी आपके classmates होंगे जो engaged होंगे startups में ज़्यादा. तो मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ कि अभी जो प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन है आपकी, जो आप बहुत अच्छी कंपनी से प्लेस्ड हो, बट करंट सिनेरियो है कि वो स्टार्टअप से अगर आप कंपेयर करो, उनके एक बार कंपेयर करो, तो वो क्या सोचते हैं कि लाइक आप बहुत अच्छा प्लेस्ड हो, या आप लोग क्या सोचते हो कि हम स्टार्टअप्स में जाते अगर खुद करते
तो वो ज्यादा होते हैं. I know comparison is not a working, but I really want to ask, like, I currently I am more engaged in startups and all. So मैं एक तो सोचता हूँ कि startups में जाऊँ, and on the other side I think I should go for placements in all companies. So can you guide me in this? Okay, so the thing, yeah, sure. So the thing with the startups is, key right now in this, at this point of time, startups थोड़े stable नहीं हैं. ठीक है, to be really very honest with you, they are like lot and lots of like to mass resignation खुद client एम्प्लॉयज की तरफ से चल रहे हैं, ऊपर से फायरिंग भी बहुत ज्यादा हो रही है. इवन आई गॉट टू नो लाइक वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड इज एचआर एट ओला. ओके, एंड I don't want to leak any information, but yes, there is something gonna happen soon. So startups थोड़े इस समय मैं कहूँगा risky हैं, but you really want to get into a stable startup. I'm damn sure that you will be learning a lot of things. The people who are actually going into TCS, they would be learning the things in 1 year. You will get to learn things in 1 month, for sure. But
I,
if you want to get into a stable job, yeah, you can add.
I actually have to have add something because I was placed in a lot of startups. Startups are good while you are doing internship over there, because when you are doing internship you get, because it's a startup, so you get to do a lot of multiple roles which you probably not get if you are intern at a big company, right? I was intern at Gaming Horns. I used to do a lot of things including client communication even back when I was second year intern. When I became an intern over at S&P, they have very fixed role for their interns because they have been running this plan for so long. So you do not get as much exposure. But if you are going for placements, placement is something which you need to be assured, right? You need to be something sure. And we have seen that even this year when MobiQuick came, they offered 14 lakhs. And MobiQuick is a fairly known company, so you cannot put it like in a field startup or anything, but it laid down all of the people, right? Same thing has happened with Rapido. Trello is an Atlassian, Atlassian funded project that has also happened over there. So for startup, it's not a good, place for you to start. Secondly, you need to know the market trends a little bit. Last year was very good for startups because we came about with like 33, 34 unicorns. Even those like see an academy, it was a unicorn. Still, it is cut down. It is bleeding. It's not even offering you free lunch. So think about those things as well. Also, when you take up a job, it's very different than how you see yourself as a in a startup. In a startup, you're not sure whether you will get the funding or not. You're not sure if you'll be sold off or not. So there are a lot of unsureties that go. Also, if you're trying to look up for masters or go for masters, you might want to have company with some face value attached to it, right? So that when your master's recruiter looks over it, they have a certain sponsorship, right? So they have certain value attached to it, some face value to it. In a I would say in a corporate job, what it happens is you get so much structure and you get so much network to all of these people that that's a completely different experience from what you will get over at a startup. For a startup, things that will be much more ad hoc. You will not be sure. Like this has happened. Like this happens when people do not get paid on time for startup. So you will have to think of these benefits. Also, when you are in a full-time job, you get benefits like medical health, dental insurances, and insurances for your parent, life insurances. All of these things which you will not be getting in a startup. So try to balance these out and know what your heart desires, and then go after that.
Um, Great. That was
Okay, Ray.
such
So
nice
much for your
answers.
questions.
I hope, Mayank, your question was answered. All good?
Yeah. Thank you very much, all the
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah.
Next question is asked by Yash Kataria to Suchita Devi, that he got to know that you also got a role offer at Goldman Sachs. Can you tell your experience about that too?
अरे तो लोग inside information कौन दे रहा है? Yeah, I'll definitely like to share. So I got a role at Goldman Sachs too. It was the new analyst role, which is like the standard role for anyone incoming. Then they segregate into like engineering departments and all. So for that, like I'll tell you about my interview experience. So Goldman Sachs has conducts, I think, 2 campus hiring events all over India. That's an off-campus event, and it happens. One happens around August, and one happens in January. So these are the two events, and you can just directly apply on their portal or their website, I guess. And they like give a chance to everyone. There is no resume shortlisting in that, I guess. So they have two online assessments. The first one is totally quantitative, logical ability based, and they ask very tough math questions. Like if I'm being honest, quantitative, logical ability, reasoning, yeah, all these things are there in first online assessment. In the second online assessment, there is a quantitative section. They literally ask you JEE maths wale questions. So if you want to apply, do bring out your JEE wale books and prepare from that. And they ask you two easy questions, easy coding questions, and one very difficult lead code hard type question. And in that they have some criteria that there are 3 4 sections. One is quant, one is the easy coding one, then the second is the difficult coding one, and you have to clear like 2 3 sections out of them to qualify for the interviews. Then there are 3 interview rounds, 3 or 2 they take. Sometimes they take 2, sometimes they take 3. So for me they took 3 interviews. The first interview was totally based on my projects. So since I had all my projects in deep learning and all, so and computer vision basically, so they asked me questions related to that. And in the second round they asked me 2 DSA questions and some part from my resume, some experiences and all. I did a internship at a startup, so they asked me questions about that. And the third round was totally HR round. They asked me, why do you want to join the company? Why do you want to do this and that? So that was it for the Goldman experience, and then I got the job. So yeah, anything else, anything specific you want to know about Goldman? So yeah, please do ask.
I think that was perfectly answered. I think we can. Oh yeah, Yash says no. That's all, I guess. So great.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So let's move on to the next question.
Next question is asked by Mishal Pandey. जॉब मिल गई और उसके बाद सेमेस्टर एग्जाम में 1-2 नंबर से फेल हो गए तो जॉब रहेगी या नहीं? 3 Idiots.
No, I think if even that is an open-ended question. If anyone of you can answer that.
नहीं रहेगी जॉब यार, ऑनेस्ट। ये
Oh, like,
3 Idiots की मूवी नहीं है कि जहाँ पे तुम गिर फिर जाओगे तो ऐसे जॉब वॉब दे देते हैं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है। If you fail, that's just it. However, you will have accumulated enough credits over your 7 semesters that you will not be, failed, but it will be a backlog. You'll need to give that exam again. So it depends on company to company, but I know 4-5 companies, उनमें ये होता है. They have the rule, you can't fail. You can't have backlogs, you can't fail. यार वैसे भी फेल थोड़ी करोगे, 30 नंबर तो लेके आने हैं, 30 में भी क्या फेल का डर.
and considering that we're having online exams, I'm not too sure if no comments.
That's the main
Let's
issue.
suppose if you have offline exams, you have Akash.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's the main problem. I'm in second year and I've been giving online exams, and by next year hopefully we'd be giving offline exams, and that is going to be really tough because first second year के basics भी clear नहीं है. Hoping for the best.
यार हम तो फर्स्ट सेकेंड ईयर मतलब हाथ से एग्जाम दिए थे, वेजेस वगैरह बना के आए थे, वो ईएम वगैरह का एग्जाम, हमें भी नहीं पता कि हमने क्या किया था. तुम ये इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर थोड़ी बनोगे जो तुम्हें बोलेंगे कि वेज का फोर्स फाइंड करो.
Exactly.
Just clear with your computer basics, know your OS, know your DBMS, know your networking, know your basic cloud and scaling things, you'll be fine.
And after all, engineering is all about hustling, right? So it's all about the hustle at the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hustle, coffee, sweat, and not having relationships.
So true. Okay, so let's move on to the last question for the day by Deepanshu Jain. So she's asking, can you tell some good resources for aptitude preparation from where you all might have prepared?
8th class books, 8th, 9th class books. No, apart from that, there are several websites. Basically, SSC, whatever your SSC syllabus is, it is the same for aptitude. So prepare from the SSC guidelines only, SSC, CGL, banking, basic questions. That's where I prepared
यार
from.
what I used to do कि मैं YouTube पे कोई चैनल खोल लेता था, उनकी प्लेलिस्ट खोलता था पूरी, 100 क्वेश्चंस करता था डेली के, ठीक है। जब वो अपना सोल्यूशन दिखाते थे उसको पॉज करता था, खुद सॉल्व करता था, फिर उनका सोल्यूशन देखता था कि क्या मैं सही हूँ या नहीं, ठीक है। तो ऐसे में 100 क्वेश्चंस करता था। This is I used to practice, बट हाँ और भी बहुत सोल्यूशन है करने के।
A little bit depends upon how good your basics was, and apart from it, how you are building it. तो यार मतलब बेसिकली ना सिंपली क्वेश्चन आता है एप्टीट्यूड में, ऐसे कोई खतरनाक वाले आएंगे नहीं, तुम्हें गेट नहीं क्लियर करवानी है उन्हें, बस तुम्हें शॉर्ट लिस्ट करना है। सो डू व्हाट भैया यूज्ड टू डू, आई हैव अ बुक कॉल्ड क्विकर मैथ्स बाय टायरा। If you like do half of it, like the easy and the medium section, you'll be fine for aptitude. And Tyra is the name of the book. It's a very like known book for aptitude test. Either that or some R.S. Agrawal, it will work.
Right, right. I think we're done with the questions from the chat, but I think we've got some couple of queries from people who've raised their hands. Mike, if you could please move back to the previous slide. We'll just quickly finish up these questions. Vasudev has raised his hand. Vasudev, do you have a question?
Hi. So basically, currently वैसे I'm in second year, but I just wanted to know about the policy. जैसे जब थर्ड ईयर के एंड के लाइक जैसे अभी जो जुलाई अगस्त का टाइम चल रहा है, तो प्लेसमेंट होती है कॉलेज में। अब कॉलेज में प्लेसमेंट होती है तो एक ऐसा कुछ सिस्टम है ना कि ड्रीम कंपनीज का, कि भाई आप 3 ही कंपनीज में बैठ सकते हो। तो एक बार वो चीज़ आप एक्सप्लेन कर दो, लाइक कैसे होता है, किस बेसिस पे होता है, मतलब क्या करोगे अगर ऑप्शन ही नहीं बचेगा आपके पास। मान लो मैं टीसीएस में 3 लाख की जॉब लग गई, अब 3 लाख की जॉब लग गई, नाउ आई हैव 3 ऑप्शंस लेफ्ट, देन व्हाट विल हैपन?
Now you are stuck, हाँ। नहीं देखो यार, हाँ 3 लाख के लग गए टीसीएस में, उसके बाद तुम्हें ड्रीम कंपनीज मिलती है, और ड्रीम कंपनीज ना कॉलेज ही बताता है कि कौन सी है, तुम डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते कौन सी तुम ड्रीम कंपनी लोगे। मेरे टाइम में तो ऐसा होता, पता नहीं नेक्स्ट ईयर चेंज ना कर दिया हो, ठीक है।
नहीं भैया ये
तो
सर कैसे
यही है, तो हाँ
यही
तो मतलब ड्रीम कंपनी तो अपने
So
हिसाब से
this year
बताते हैं,
around,
या ये
this
ड्रीम
year
कंपनी।
around, because we're sitting for placement. Sorry to interrupt you there. Just an update. Because we're sitting for a placements and everything. So इस बार इन लोगों ने ये किया है that companies जिनका package would be greater than 12 lakh per annum, those would be considered as dream. So
ये तो और
can
खराब कर दिया यार,
exactly.
ये
So
तो और
नहीं
खराब कर दिया मेरे हिसाब से।
so देखा जाए तो Amazon, Tata 1mg, Sienna, and like companies like those would be considered as dream.
What about
भाई
7-8
सही
package?
सही है।
Yeah,
लास्ट ईयर हमारे टाइम पे इन्होंने एक्सेंचर वाज ऑफरिंग 6.5 पैकेज एंड दे आल्सो मेड इट अ ड्रीम कंपनी, सो इट्स अ बेटर दैट
तो
वे
ठीक
बिकॉज़
है, the person who already have a TCS offer, ठीक है, तो 6.5 और 8 offer, that is much fine ना, ठीक है। college deals।
and one other thing that has maybe changed this year, I'm not too sure if this is actually the truth or if would be followed rigorously or not, but they've told us that if somebody gets an offer from TCS Ninja, like I've got an offer from TCS Ninja, they said that you can like still be eligible to sit for other companies as well. They'll be giving 10 to 15 opportunities for students to sit in other companies other than the dream companies, of course. So I'm not too sure how true.
That is just because क्योंकि वो TCS का जो NQT होता है, ठीक है, I think that
Right.
one is NQT और मे बी कोड भी था, अगर तुम उससे
That
गए
is
हो तो
still
वो
NQT, yes.
ऑल ओवर इंडिया होता है, ठीक है, तो उसको ऑफ कैंपस कंसिडर करते हैं। हमारे टाइम में भी ऐसे ही होता था।
Oh, okay. Right. So I think that answers. हाँ जी बोल।
यार ये वो बोलते लगे and until unless you get it in writing nothing will actually happen. This time what happened was ZS interviewed, I don't know bhaiya if you know or not, but ZS interviewed us and after we reached out to the HR and they said that we will be having the technical rounds. In ZS you first give a market interview after your online interview and same day you had technical interview. So किसी का उससे दिन हो गया, किसी का एक वीक बाद हुआ और हम लोगों का आया ही नहीं, जबकि हम लोगों ने क्लियर कर लिया था। HR सेंड अस अ मैसेज कि यार आपका क्लियर्ड है, वी विल बी शेड्यूलिंग योर इंटरव्यू। आज तक कोई इंटरव्यू ही नहीं शेड्यूल हुआ। हमने बाद में HR को पिंग किया, कुछ रिप्लाई ही नहीं आया। So when we pinged क्या कहते हैं college, तो college simply said कि यार हम तो agency के through connected हैं, so agency नहीं reply कर रही है. So those things also happen. So until unless you get it in writing, don't be too sure of anything. College कुछ भी बोलता है.
Right.
Don't quote me on that.
Right. So I
And
think that answers your
one more
question,
thing,
Vasudef.
Shivam. Yeah. Shatakshi, you
We're a
mentioned
bit
somewhere that
sorry
you
to
were
cut you there, Vasudef. We're a bit short on time, and
okay.
maybe just do you have one last question? Let's make it a bit quick if possible.
Okay, just quickly, I'm gonna ask you, isn't it risking things कि भाई जब Amazon आपके कॉलेज में आ रही है, वो जॉब की जगह इंटर्नशिप देती है 6 महीने की, एंड उसके बाद जॉब मिलेगी तो मैं सर्टेन नहीं है, तो कोई इतना बड़ा रिस्क क्यों ले? नाम जरूर आ जाएगा Amazon का, बट विल इट बी वर्थ इट?
या मैंने तो इसीलिए नहीं ली. For the same reason I was offered, I was the only person हमारे ईयर में जिसको systems engineer का systems development का offer हुआ था. This was one of the biggest reasons why I didn't take, because getting a job through college is easier than getting it all on your own from outside. So this was one of the reasons why I didn't take the job from Amazon. Also, some people did get direct jobs. Like I have Astha in my class who got directly placed into program and analyst, and she didn't even have to do the internship. So it completely depends upon Amazon's need at that time. Also, you then need to figure out कि तुम्हें क्या करना है और कैसे करना है. Like there are multiple variables that go into play rather than just it being a yes or no decision.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Vasudev, for both of your questions. I think we have one final question again from Mayank Hora. Mayank, if you could
Yeah,
please
yeah.
make it a bit quick.
Like TS is something like everyone face difficulty in starting, especially me. So I want to ask like how to improve our DSA, like basic steps, what to do from as a beginner, as a second year student. Have you heard
Uh,
about pep coding?
yes.
Yeah, I have heard. Okay, so they are actually they offer like a free course over there. You actually have level one, level two DSA questions you can practice over there, and like they really shared really very good questions. They are mostly asked into Amazon, Flipkart, and Google. Okay, so yes, if I was you, I would have gone for pep coding for sure. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayank, for the
Scalar
question.
Academy is also there.
Right.
Scalar Academy is really good. Then you have interview bit. Interview bit has a planned structure, so you can go for that also.
Right. Great.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Um,
you so much.
yes. So I think we're done with all the questions. Before we come to the end of this session, I would like to give the Suchika, the Shatakshi, the and Deepanshu here to just give some final thoughts or final, one-liners maybe for us to just keep our selves motivated for the placement season. Anything starting from Shatakshi, maybe.
Think about money. Think about how much you will be getting at the end of the month. Think about all the solo trips you can go on, and that will be enough to motivate you. Apart from that, I don't think anything motivates better than money. So think about money. Think about the higher package. That is what motivated me to work. There is no other reason why you should work. Apart from
Right.
that, I would say when you like people are there who want to do see a CAD, who want to do MBA, who want to go for further studies, who have all these dreams in their minds. I would suggest that have a foot on the ground as well. Get a job, even if you don't want to, even if you don't want to become a corporate slave like me or somebody else. Still have a job because in real world, dreams do not pay off bills. Money does. So it really helps to have a background plan for for your sanity, for your peace also. Once you know that you have a job in backend, you can try other things as well. But you still will be saying that you will not have anything, you will not become an unemployed bum after 4 years. So you can take
Right.
off that. So think of the money, think of real world, and do not rush into things like कि हम तो startup कर लेंगे हो जाएगा. Nothing happens like that. Rather than be a practical person, don't lie to yourself. Lie to others. Don't lie to yourself. That is what I will say. And also try to be mentally positive. Like this situation is going to be very, very hectic, more hectic than when you got into college. So try to keep your finger on the pulse. Try to, properly हो जाता है, so don't need to put in so much thoughts in everything. So that is it from my side.
Wow, well said. Suchika di, any final thoughts for the
My
attendees?
final thoughts would be apply everywhere, apply, apply, apply. Keep on applying to every company, be it on campus, off campus. On campus नहीं मिलेंगी ज़्यादा opportunities. I know because वो बंद कर देते हैं, फिर मना करा देते हैं एक के बाद, फिर ड्रीम बचती है बस. बट जितनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिले बस अप्लाई करते रहो. एट द एंड यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट अ जॉब, कहीं ना कहीं तो पक्का मिल जाएगी. एंड डोंट बी स्केर्ड. आई नो लाइक आपके जब सारे फ्रेंड्स प्लेस हो जाते हैं आपके अराउंड एंड यू आर वेरी स्केर्ड क्योंकि आई एम द ओनली वन लेफ्ट एंड एवरीवन हैज लाइक गॉट एटलीस्ट वन ऑफर. सो इट इज अ वेरी स्केरी फेज. But don't be scared, just have your goal in mind that okay, I'll crack the next one, I'll be better in the next one. Not crack, I'll be better in the next one, and try to like learn from your mistakes and apply everywhere. Seriously, it helps you a lot.
Sure. So the moral of the story is to have faith in yourself, guys. That's
Yes.
the cheat code. Yes. Thank you. Dipanshu, Bhaiya, any departing comments or insights?
Sure. देखो यार, ऑन कैंपस प्लेसमेंट नहीं लगी ना तो डीमोटिवेट मत होना, ठीक है। ऑफ कैंपस बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज है और जॉब भर के मिलेंगी, ठीक है। बिल्कुल भी डीमोटिवेट नहीं होना कि यार मेरी जॉब नहीं लगी या फिर ये है वो है। बाहर ऑफ कैंपस बहुत जॉब्स है, और चलो ऑफ कैंपस भी नहीं लग रही ना, आई थिंक मोस्ट हैव यू हर्ड अबाउट द चाय वाली, ओके, दैट बिहार में, अगर किसी ने सुना हो तो। शी इज लाइक सेलिंग 3000, लाइक डे का 5-10 हजार बना रही है यार, चाय का ठेला ही खोल देना। टू बी ऑनेस्ट, यू वुड बी अर्निंग मोर देन अस। तो पैसा इज एवरीथिंग, ओके, मनी इज एवरीथिंग। अगर मेरी प्लेसमेंट लगती मैं चाय का ठेला खोल लेता, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, इफ आई वुड बी अर्निंग 10,000 डे, नो प्रॉब्लम विद दैट। तो डीमोटिवेट नहीं होना यार, अपने ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस रखो और अपना कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स हमेशा टॉप लेवल रखना। चाहे तुम कंपनी में ही पहुंच जाओगे ना, द की फॉर प्रमोशंस, द की टू गेट ऑन हाई लेवल इज द कम्युनिकेशन। तुम्हारे, मैं गारंटी बता रहा हूँ, डेटा साइंस हो, पाइथन हो, तुम्हारा जावा हो, कुछ भी कर लो, ठीक है, तुम मास्टर भी कर लोगे ना, it won't help you out in the promotions. Communication skills will help you out in the promotion. Communication will help you out to reach to the CEO, to the CTO, to get to that position. Communication skills अपने हमेशा बेस्ट रखना,
Right.
that's the key thing.
Very well said, Bhaiya. Thank you. So, everyone, we're done with the question answer round. We're done with the final thoughts and the insights that our lovely speakers had to give us. So, now comes the time where I have to, on behalf of the whole society, thank our beloved seniors and some of the alumni as well. Thank you so much, Deepanshu Bhaiya, Shatakshi Di, and Suchika Di. Unfortunately, Harshit Bhaiya couldn't join, but thank you all for joining and gracing us with your presence. It means a lot. And so now we'll move on to the. If you could please move back to the previous slide, Mayank, that'll be great. Just a kind reminder to everyone to fill out the feedback form before you leave. And I'd like to thank each and every person who joined in. And you guys were a great audience. Thanks for keeping the interaction alive. Till then, I, Shivam,
And I, Rupanshi.
sign off for the day. Stay safe and hope to see you all soon with another great session by EduMinerva. And to attend more such insightful events, follow us on our social media handles on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Mayank would be sharing it on our screen here. If you could please change the screen, Mayank. Yeah, there goes our social media handles. Follow us for more exclusive content. We'll be posting the recorded session on our YouTube channel as well. You can have a look at it. And yeah, also we've also shared the LinkedIn profiles of all of our speakers. Feel free to connect with them and get to know them more in person and try to learn from them as much as possible. Thank you everyone for joining again.
I guess you can stop the recording now.